there's this interesting thing of this core belief of lack, which is often the identity that most people have, of some sort of lack, like whether it's I'm alone, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, whatever. And you see that in that people play a sort of specific role, that they try to relate to others in a way, whether that's being helpful or it's proving their own worth in a covert way. That's really interesting to witness. And when you don't have to prove your worth, that's a big reflection I've seen, that you automatically play the right part in the situation, but it's not personal. So I can play a part that's very much that used to not be my character, let's say.
Yeah.
I can be the quiet one, or I can be sort of the one that just serves without saying anything about it. I came from the other part where I was just, but I could also still be, very assertive, or talk in a certain way, or solve problems with, direct action, or be loud, whatever, or dance in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like most mornings, by the way.
Love it. Because I think also then in such situations, your skill set to do improv just has absolutely increased.
Life.
I think that was also just Putnam, I think, who said that, right?
Yeah.
So you're not anymore Kees or Floris, the scripted role, who has this certain character that needs to react in certain way in certain situations, but there's just this person, this physical entity being present, and it can do improv. So it can be assertive when it's aligned with the situation to be assertive, but the person can also be being present quietly if the situation it fits it. That's a nice thing.
So it's interesting, but I've been myself. I had quite. I think there's all these aspects, of course, of realization, or let's say that you could say many cups, right? That to listen to in this game, and one of these cups is this sort of core lack belief, and let's say my cup was not so full. I think most people's cups is a little bit fuller. So in the situation, it felt like I always had something to relate to, whether it's inferiority or superiority or something like that. I had something that wanted to balance itself out in the situation by doing something or not doing something, right? Mm-hmm. And that's very tiring, first of all. But it's actually, also sometimes tiring for the other person, right? It's also sometimes like, okay, and then especially if you need to be, let's say, the hero or the villain, or you really need to play this part, then you push the other person to another part as well.
Exactly.
So the other person, you can't really dance with each other if you pick a role and then you hold on to that role the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's survival mechanism at its best.
Mm-hmm.
So what you describe, I recognize, because you try to solve something that is not there. It occurs in your mind only, the sense of suffering or being uncomfortable, whatever, and then you force a scripted role, whatever, into that situation. And I've noticed a lot by taking responsibility for others, like pleasing them. I actually took away space and responsibility from the other person. So what I did, let's say energetically or physically, I did steps forward to that person. But I was getting so close that I was actually chasing the other person away. Because there was no space for that person to do whatever felt right for the other in that situation.
Yeah.
So their reaction was like, hey, what are you doing? I mean, and I said, oh, I'm only showing love. I only want to show you my love because this is how I know how to express it, right? Yeah. And they said, oh, I don't like this love. Well, what are you doing?
Yeah. That's what you said with the love languages, right? So taking care of people is like one of the biggest love languages, right? For more introverted type of people, right? It's like I take care of
empty cup. That was my empty cup trying to fill itself.
Exactly.
What if I do this? Am I enough? Am I enough?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I think it's one thing that makes sense for me to say about that as well. It's like, I love the Buddha's talking about the middle way, and there's this, you could say, almost, for me it was very hard to be, or I really needed to learn to be in the middle way, because often I was inflating or deflating. Well, most of the time I was inflating. I think most of the time you were deflating, right?
Absolutely.
And that's like, and also in our interactions we had to we talked about that. I would be inflating, and you would be deflating. At some point I would be like, why aren't you saying anything?
She's still alive.
Yeah, but I was pumping it up. But so there's this middle way between inflation and deflation, that you see that with, like, very extreme with people that have this, personality disorders or things like that, that either they totally are one way with, like, this inflated ego. You say one thing and it's just like deflation explosion, right? It's like, I'm not worthy at all, so you're thinking that, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
No, I'm just having one criticism about this one thing. Like, so that's extreme, of course, but that's a little bit in this dance. It's like very much staying in the middle way. In transactional analysis, you have this whole thing about acting like a kid or acting like a parent. Yeah. And actually you want to be in the middle, act like a grown-up, right? It's like, you have your responsibilities, I have my responsibilities. I don't have to play the part of the parent where I'm also trying to be responsible for you, or playing the part of the kid where I'm pushing my responsibility towards you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's such an interesting dance, especially in relationships, right? Yeah, with other people. And in love relationships, people have their favorite places to play parent or kid or things like that. And
definitely, it's so subtle.